Welcome back to the Loading Up Podcast. I am your host, Brother Zay, and with me tonight is Producer J.
What's going on? What's going on?
How's everything, man?
Everything's good.
Everything's good?
I feel like I mentioned the past few weeks that it's been tough to like game and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I actually found time to play games this week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What are you playing?
So I've been playing a little bit of Spider-Man that just came out. But also I have been playing the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection.
Okay.
So I just got through with the first Metal Gear that because I never actually played the first Metal Gear games.
Wow,
I played Metal Gear. I've only played Metal Gear Solid, and I've never played the original Metal Gears. So it's very dated. I will say that. Like literally, my kids were passing by. They was like, "Why are you playing an old game?" Like, I can't play old games. But
they're like, "This doesn't look like Fortnite."
Right? Yeah, so I've been playing that. I'm moving on to Metal Gear 2, and and I'm still working on Spider-Man.
Nice. So I've been playing Spider-Man, and actually today I platinumed it. 100% Spider-Man.
Nice. I heard it's an easy platinum. How
is.
long would you say it took?
I didn't see official game time. I want to say maybe 25 hours tops.
Yeah, that's what people been saying.
Yeah, I mean, and I did everything, and obviously because I platinumed it, but like the way I play Spider-Man games is that I will do a main mission, and then after the main mission, a bunch of side missions pop up.
Right.
So I will do all the side missions before I go to the next main mission.
I can't, like, I try, but then you got to go through each area, and then you got to clear them out, and then you didn't unlock all of them, so it's like...
Well, you do what comes up, because let's say if I didn't do that, I just do the main missions, and then after the game, I got to go back, and there's all these things all to do, and it's like, oh yeah, I got more things to do after the game, but it's like, man, I got so much to do, so I just did them as they, popped up.
Yeah.
I figured it was like the best course of action.
Okay.
When it came to the game. So for Spider-Man 2, the game was good. The story was great. Way better than part 1. Better than even Miles Morales. I loved it. The story-wise, it was really good. Gameplays, obviously, it's the same. You're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You're not gonna reinvent being Spider-Man for gameplay. So
although I feel like they did add enough where it did feel a little bit refreshed, like especially like with the gliding
wingsuit, wingsuits, yeah. I mean that was definitely cool to add that. Very, the game's traversal system is very unique in that sense.
Yeah.
I did run into I crashed a few times, got a couple bugs here and there. I mean, it's a new game. Games launch buggy apparently, so
yeah.
But the one thing that really pissed me off, and you talked about it in Excuse Me Brother podcast,
yes,
was the Puerto Rican flag being
the Cuban flag.
It was being absent and replaced for the Cuban flag, and that
they made Miles Cuban.
yeah, that one really pissed me off. And then the reason why it pissed me off was, I was listening to the podcast when you talked about it, and I was like, I think it goes deeper than that, because when you know the history of the Puerto Rican flag, especially here in New York, and how people were literally arrested for just having the flag on them or just displaying the flag. People were put in jail for years. They were beaten and thrown in jail for having the flag. So some people could think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal to you, because it's not your flag, it's not your history, but it is a big deal, I will say they did correct it today. So
they did? Okay.
Yes, they did. They patched it, and today meaning Thursday. So as of Thursday, they did correct it, and it was fixed. And I'm glad, because toward the end, you see the flag again. And I'm like, if I would have saw the, Cuban flag again, I would have been really pissed.
What
end
bugs
of the game?
Yeah. What bugs me the most about it is that it was such an easy thing to avoid. Like, it takes literally less than 2 seconds to Google Puerto Rican flag. Like,
No,
I honestly, I'm trying to wrap my head around like how this could even happen.
It doesn't even make sense because it didn't happen in Miles Morales.
Yeah,
It was right throughout the whole game.
And they got the freaking Boricua suit, which has the
was
right
correct.
Colors. So it's like and people were saying like, oh, it's a different build. It's a different team that was working on it at the time of Miles Morales. Was like, okay, they didn't think to look at what the other team was doing.
Yeah.
To make sure they got it right. Like, but that's I'm still like,
where's
frustrated.
The quality assurance here?
I'm just I want to know who was the one. I mean, maybe it was a group of people that thought this was the correct flag. Like, because somebody had to have downloaded the asset to put it in the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, I even looked through Google because I was like, there has to be a reason. Like, maybe they just like they typed in Puerto Rican flag texture or something like that, and the Cuban flag just happened to show up. Because sometimes that happens where it shows a different thing, but no, like there's literally no reason for it, and it's just
I feel like you're trying to make an excuse for them.
I'm not even making an excuse. I'm not making an excuse. I'm trying to understand how it could happen, and I still to this day I don't know how.
It shouldn't have happened. That's the thing. It shouldn't have happened at all. And
I go into it more on the Excuse Me Brother podcast about why I was so frustrated, because it, like I said in that podcast, like it speaks to a bigger issue regarding like race or Hispanic races and the different cultures and stuff like that. But anyway, you can go listen to that if you want more context. But I'm glad they fixed it though.
They did fix it, yeah. So as I said, I give them credit. They did end up fixing it in a patch. So for me, the game was about if you're doing it out of 5, it's a 4 out of 5. It's a out of 10. It's a I would say 8.75 out of 10. It wasn't the great. The story was really good, and surprisingly, the MJ missions were not that bad compared to the first one. It was it's still bad, but just not that bad.
Yeah,
you know? It's like it's tolerable now. So I enjoyed it. I platinumed it. I enjoyed it. The PlayStation's now just gonna be sitting there until the next exclusive, whenever
that is.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
The next Wolverine. Wolverine. That's the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far I'm enjoying the game. I can't really give it a rating yet, but so far I feel like I feel very similar to how I felt about God of War Ragnarok, in that it did a lot of things right, but it also kind of played it safe a lot. So far, like I said, I mean, I haven't seen the later parts of the game. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling so far. So maybe that'll change, but it's still a great game.
After the middle, like right in the middle, it picks up fast, and you're like,
that's what I heard too. That there's like it like there's something that happens, and it just kind of like goes from there.
Yeah. So like in the beginning, it's very early on. It's very haha, we're Spider-Man, you know.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's like you're Spider-Man. It's going fast, you know.
Yeah.
So it does pick up, and it does get really good. I really enjoyed the cameos, the Easter eggs, everything about the game. So it was a good game. Glad I played it.
Good. I definitely recommend it to anybody who is looking for something to play right now. Although there is a lot to play right now.
A lot.
And I just, as we're talking, I think they released the reviews for Alan Wake. So, and apparently that's now a Game of the Year contender, Alan Wake 2. And
they give it a 90 Metacritic.
I know. That's very surprising. Although it shouldn't be, but I'm gonna be honest.
What?
I'm starting to feel a FOMO. Even though I know I'm not gonna play it. But
hold off, okay? Hold off.
I know. I gotta be strong.
You gotta be strong. Yeah.
Anyway, we can get into the news.
For sure. So we had an update from Larian Studios. Larian Studios is the creators of Baldur's Gate 3 on when Baldur's Gate 3 will be on the Xbox Series X and S. So it seems like we're coming up on the end of the year. It's almost November, and we still don't even have an official date. So they came out and said that we're still working on it. We're still shooting for the end of this year, 2023. So they're haven't pushed it to 2024 yet, and we're just wondering. I'm wondering, is it gonna be December? Because I don't know if they want to drop it in November with Call of Duty. You know,
that's a good point.
So if anything, maybe we'll have a Baldur's Gate 3 Christmas.
Well, yeah, they did say, and they reiterated that it's coming out at the end of the year. Like it's not like a delay or anything, or at least they haven't announced it yet. I do wonder though, because like I thought for sure. I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but I thought for sure this game was gonna appear in the partner preview.
Yeah, no,
but it didn't. Yeah. So yeah. I'm wondering like if it's gonna be like a kind of like a surprise drop, or potentially maybe a Game Pass game. I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
The reason why I think that is because the majority of people who wanted to play Baldur's Gate have already bought it on PC.
And PC, yeah, and PC.
And then when it dropped again on PlayStation, it sold pretty well. I mean, it topped the charts for I think that month or that week or I don't know.
I think it was that weekend it came out. It topped the charts.
Yeah, it topped the charts. But then like you didn't really hear anything else about it. And I mean, it's still going strong on Steam and stuff like that. So I think it sold as much as it's going to sell. I don't think, even if they release on Xbox, I don't think there's going to be enough people to buy it on that platform that haven't already bought it on PC or PlayStation. So I think if, and could have sworn that, or maybe it wasn't on that. There was like a list that leaked about which games they would go for Game Pass and how much it would cost.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Baldur's Gate 3 was on that list, and I think it was probably the cheapest one of all the games that they were eyeing. I think it was something like $1 million or something like that, just to put it on Game Pass.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, in that same report, they passed up on it because they didn't think it was going to do that well.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was before it actually came out and it received a whole bunch of praise and stuff like that. So, granted, yeah, that price could have gone up. It most definitely have
definitely did. Yeah, after the release, definitely.
I do think it is within reason that it could be like a surprise Game Pass game, because that would definitely get people playing the game.
I mean, if it is, I will have to purchase it again. I mean, it's cross-play, so I already have it on Steam. I'll be able to play with my Xbox. Yeah.
I thought it was cross-save.
No, it's cross-play. I checked on it.
You can play like PC and PlayStation?
No, PC and Xbox, not PlayStation.
Baldur's Gate 3?
Yes, Baldur's Gate 3. So if you go, I'll be able to play with anybody who wants to play it on Xbox. I won't be able to play with people on PlayStation, but I'll be able to play with anybody on Xbox. So I already confirmed that because I was like, man, I hope I don't have to buy it again because I already brought it on Steam. So when I checked, it said cross-play with Xbox and PC. So
are you sure? I feel like I looked up the same thing. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
We're gonna check now.
I'm gonna fact check you real quick.
Let's do it right now, live. So either way, if it drops on Game Pass, while that will be a big win for Game Pass, you know, especially when after Phil Spencer already came out and said that, you know, we're not doing a big ABK game drop. That's going to come later, 2024. So getting Baldur's Gate 3 to go to Game Pass will be huge.
Yes, it definitely would be huge. And I think, because like I said, a lot of people, so I looked it up and it does say, so it's nothing like official. It just says that crossplay will be the focus once the Xbox version comes out. Okay. I don't know if that means it'll come out with crossplay when the Xbox version comes out. I don't know. We'll find out. But it does seem like crossplay is going to be a thing, which it makes sense, right? Because that game is very like co-op focused, and you'd want to have as much people being able to play together.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I think because I mean, I don't know. Like you could sell it as the whole. Well, because I've heard other people say that that it's gonna be nominated for Game of the Year, like in the Game Awards. So
what
could
game?
use that Baldur's Gate.
Oh, definitely.
So you can use that as a selling point to sell. Hey, you want to play the potential Game of the Year? It's on Xbox now, and kind of like spin it around that.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think that's gonna be enough. I feel like a Game Pass deal would be the best way to get the most out of that game at this point. If it came out the same day as PlayStation, then I could say, yeah, like it'll sell a lot because now people have it on console. But I feel like after the PlayStation version, it's kind of hard to buy it a third time for people or second time.
Yeah, I mean, if let's say crossplay doesn't work on between PC and Xbox, I'm gonna have just to buy it again because my friends want to play it, So I'm just gonna have to buy it again if it doesn't work.
I mean,
I'll do that. That's fine. There's no big deal because I'll be able to play with friends. I like to play. So I'm a social gamer. So if they want to play a game, I'll just have to get it.
Sounds good. I mean, if it does drop on Xbox, and I mean, maybe I'll put it on my Christmas list because I can't justify myself buying another game, which is why I'm not gonna buy Alan Wake.
You say that now.
I do say I say that now, and then come next week, I'm like, I bought Alan Wake.
This is gonna be a Steam sale. You're like, damn it, it's caught me.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. So then I said that would jump right into the next bit of news, and it's from Nintendo. So the so-called Nintendo Switch 2. It's all speculations because we haven't heard much of the Nintendo Switch 2. But the console will claims that it will support NVIDIA's DLSS 3.5 ray reconstruction, which will make the new console by Nintendo more capable at ray tracing compared to the PS5 and the Series X consoles. And that's like a big thing, I mean, for me, ray tracing is not too important. I really don't care about ray tracing. I want just the best performance. Ray tracing is nice. It's the bells and whistles, but if they can use NVIDIA's DLSS 3.5 to have better ray tracing than even the current gen, that's a big get for Nintendo's consoles.
And it's also interesting too because Nintendo never, at least to my knowledge, has ever focused on like raw power.
Yeah.
And the fact that they might have a better performing ray tracing feature than current gen consoles on the potential Switch 2 is interesting.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
See, the thing is, so the consoles technically have because they use AMD chips. So they technically do have a version of DLSS, right?
DLSS, yeah.
Yeah, they have a version. It's called FSR. And some games use it, but not all. And I know that AMD just recently announced, and I feel like we talked about it before, that they're doing FSR 3.
Yeah, the 3. Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they're going to bring it to consoles. But it's like, I feel like it has to be something that the developers choose to utilize. And I feel like when it comes to Nintendo, that like I said, you don't really think like power. You don't think trying to get the max resolution, max frame rate and stuff like that. Some people do, but most people don't. So I feel like it might be something that it could support, but it really just depends on the developer and it depends on the game that comes to it, because I can't really see a freaking Mario game using DLSS to get 4K 60 FPS. Like I don't know, maybe I don't know. It's Nintendo, so it's kind of up in the air.
It definitely is up in the air because, like you said, Nintendo doesn't really focus on that. But even with the latest game that they released, Mario Wonders, which I've also been playing, the Mario Wonders looks amazing, and the music and the feel of it all looks really great. Now, they really pushed the envelope when it comes to 2D side scrolling, but adding new things to it, new gameplay, like how they play.
Mechanics.
The new mechanics really pop in this particular game. So could you imagine with an AI-powered ray tracing reconstruction from NVIDIA, the next Mario game can look absolutely insane.
I'm also just more, I wouldn't say concerned, but so one of the things about the current crop of handheld consoles, or I guess you'd call them handheld PCs, they're not really consoles, is the battery life. So I wonder if Nintendo's going to invest in a decent battery because I think the Switch, it can last up to 6 hours or something like that, of constant gameplay time. But once you add all these extra features, that's gonna impact the amount of battery that you can use while playing. So I wonder if where I feel like there's gonna have to be a compromise. And I wonder what that is going to be. Is it going to be screen resolution? Is it going to be form factor? Is it going to be chunky because of it? I don't know. I feel like Nintendo usually, they like to keep their consoles kind of sleek, kind of not too bulky, not too out of the ordinary.
That to the Wii U.
Oh, well. The focus was on the controller. They wanted the Wii U to kind of blend into the background, which it kind of did. But yeah, I just want to know more about this thing because we've heard so much about it with rumors and speculation and leaks and stuff like that, and I just want them to announce the thing already, so that way we can actually have a conversation about it instead of just guessing.
You just want them to announce it so you can get your wallet ready. I know what it is.
Well, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy 2 of them.
I'll buy 4. No, I'm not. Get out of here. I can't justify 4. Maybe eventually over the next few years.
You just justified buying 4.
No, I'll give my kids mine. They don't need 4K ray tracing.
Oh,
if
man,
it's backwards compatible, because that still hasn't been confirmed. But anyway,
that's true. All right, so let's get on to the next bit of news, and it's not good news looking from Sony. We have according to David Jaffe, he has multiple sources from inside Sony that the head of internal production, Connie Booth, was fired, and not only was she fired, but her whole team walked out with her, apparently in protest, because of her firing, and they say it's because of their focus switching to games as a service and an internal pressure to keep going that direction. A lot of people are upset, and it's a mess right now. They have to do some major reconstruction, especially after Jim Ryan leaving, now Connie Booth being fired, her team walking out. It's what's going on over at Sony? What's happening?
Yeah, it's very odd that these people are just and it's so unceremoniously. Granted, I guess Jim Ryan's was he kind of sort of announced it or whatever, but it was just so random. And I guess you could also say Pete Hines leaving was also random, but it wasn't so sudden. You can kind of see where everything kind of played out. Starfield released, and then Pete Hines, we spoke about it before. He he wants to retire. And I guess you could say the same thing about Jim Ryan, but this one is just out of nowhere. And she's been with the company for 34 years or something like that?
About 34 years.
Yeah, so it's I just wonder what is going on with the Sony leadership? It feels on it. Granted, I don't want to feed into the console war and stuff like that, but it feels that this is kind of a reaction to the ABK deal going through. Because I know they thought So they fought hard. I mean, well, Jim Ryan did, and I'm sure he wasn't alone because, I mean, I doubt he was by himself when he was making trips to the CMA and providing stuff with the FTC and stuff like that. It was Sony as a company that was actively against this deal. Okay. So I feel like they were actively trying to block it. And once they realized that they couldn't fight it, they had to concede. They signed that deal begrudgingly. And I think once that deal went through officially, then it was like, okay, we gotta figure things out. Like, whatever we're doing right now is not gonna work if now that Xbox has access to all the ABK games. That includes Call of Duty, Overwatch, all the money makers, World of Warcraft, Diablo, all the freaking Candy Crush games with King. Like, that's all of that together. That's a lot of revenue that's gonna come to Xbox now.
And they said they have 13 different franchises within ABK that are under Xbox now. There are multi-billion-dollar franchises.
Exactly. And even they said that the next quarter for Xbox, when it comes to their financials, it's going to see a massive jump because now they're including the ABK stuff. So that's very bad optically for Sony. And that's why a lot of people are talking about, oh, they're probably going to make an acquisition and stuff like that. But that's not necessarily true. So I think, and the fact that they don't even have a CEO replacement already in place, or at least that they're in the process of looking for, just shows that a lot of this stuff was kind of just I don't want to say last minute, but it was sudden. Yeah. So now they're trying to scramble, and the whole thing with Connie, that they let her go and then her team left. There's a lot going on behind the scenes at Sony, and it could be for the better, because if it was because of the whole games as a service push that Sony higher ups were against, I'm actually kind of glad, because I didn't want that to be a thing when it comes to Sony Studios. I mean, there was also reports that Sony developers or Sony Studios, they didn't like the whole push for the service games, and they were actually actively against it, and they opposed it, and they didn't want to push for that when that's not their specialty. Yes. And also the whole factions being canceled kind of rubbed people the wrong way. It's like, yo, Naughty Dog has been working on this for how long? And you just go up and cancel it because it wasn't as monetizable as you wanted it to be. Like, and that's scary. And especially now, like now, we're just talking about Spider-Man 2. Can you imagine if Insomniac one day, like, they're making Wolverine, and then Sony comes in and be like, nah, you got to make this a games as a service. Like, you got to have all the X-Men unlockable, and you got to grind for it, and you have to put multiplayer. Like, I don't want that game. Like, that's what happened to the Avengers. That's why it, like, shat the bed so hard, because Crystal Dynamics was not capable of delivering what Square wanted.
That game is now delisted, by the way.
It is delisted, and I was so pissed because I wanted to buy it for my brother and my cousin because they're huge Marvel fans, and I missed.
Why do you hate them?
Because they had everything. Everything was unlocked, so it wasn't like you could just play the story. Like, it wasn't and play the story in co-op. So it was more of like, hey, we could play this game, but yeah. So yeah, I missed the cutoff date for that, and it was like $2, man.
Wow,
I'm so pissed. Anyway, yeah. So I hope this is a good sign. I mean, it's never a good sign when somebody loses their job. But if it means that Sony is going to go back to focusing on single-player games, then...
That's what we hope that this can mean. But that does not necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. Specifically with the team also leaving behind her. Right. Was she putting the pressure up to the higher-ups, saying, we can't do games as a service? And then the higher-ups are like, well, this is where we're going. So they're like, if you don't want to do it, you're just fired. So then she gets fired. Her team leaves behind her with her in protest. It could just mean that they're doubling down on games as a service as well. We don't know. I hope it's not that.
Right. I mean, details are scarce. There's nothing like concrete about this whole situation. Because from what I've read, is that it's the opposite. Like the higher ups were kind of gun shy on the whole games as a service thing, and Jim Ryan and Connie Booth were kind of like pushing for it, but Sony kind of got cold feet and they're now changing course. At least that's what I've read. I don't know. Nobody really knows exactly. David Jaffe just has sources that said that she was fired. We don't know why, and we may never know why. But
yeah.
Like I said, a lot of things are happening regarding Sony, and it's kind of like, it's really weird because usually I feel like Xbox was the one who had a lot of turmoil behind the scenes, like with developers like not meeting expectations or games getting like with the whole what was that name, Scalebound, that got canceled, and there was a bunch of other games that got canceled. So it's like, it felt like Xbox was always dealing with developer issues, but now it seems like Sony's dealing with issues behind the scenes when it comes to like the games they produce. And I hope they can figure it out, because it would be a shame if they put all this energy and money and time into the games as a service games that they're going to bring out, and then they decide to change halfway through, and then it comes out and it's like half baked, and they just wasted all of their like developer resources on their exclusive games, and they have nothing else, so they have to release it. I don't know. It's just it doesn't look good. Definitely, and doesn't. I hope that Sony can come out, because like, I mean, we're already in October. I mean, you ask the fanboys on Twitter, they'll tell you there's a secret showcase that's coming. But but I really hope like maybe like February or March or something, they can come out with another showcase or state of play, and just kind of like reassure people that like, yeah, we still have games that are coming. And maybe show off Wolverine and show off like new games that are coming, because like it's like we joked about it, like your PS5 is gonna turn off until the next exclusive, but like that's the truth. Unless PlayStation 5 is your main console, you're not gonna be turning it on for anything else.
Yeah,
like I know people will most likely they'll go back to 2K and the Madden, and maybe when Call of Duty come out. I mean, now that's an Xbox game, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's so much up in the air for Sony right now, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they definitely need a roadmap to show the customers that they're still trying to produce games and get games out of there. Because right now, like you said, it just doesn't look good. It's very bleak for Sony right now, despite the successful launch of Spider-Man 2, because it was the fastest selling exclusive to date. It had like 2.5 million sales in the first day. So I mean, it's a great success for Spider-Man and for Sony there. But overall, in the long run, we don't have much. We don't know much. This is it. You have only Spider-Man. So it's like we need that secret showcase that the fanboys had talked about. We need that to bring faith and hope to the PlayStation community and to gamers.
Honestly, I feel like, so what I actually just read it like not too long ago, that I think there was like an analyst on CNBC that they were talking about, like, is Sony gonna respond to the ABK acquisition with another acquisition, and they said that not necessarily. Like, yeah, that seems like what they might do and what people expect them to do, but honestly, what they think that they were gonna do is like double up on their partnerships, which means more third-party exclusives, which is kind of what they've been doing for the longest now. Like more timed exclusives, more like with like Final Fantasy. They're gonna have to sign more deals with these publishers to get these games exclusive, because they really don't have anything first party related.
And that's if they can, because now Final Fantasy and Square Enix has now got the partnership with Xbox now. So I don't know if they're going to be able to sign exclusive deals with Sony anymore, because they want their games to go on more platforms so they can sell more.
Right.
So, I mean, we have to wait for that for Sony to come out and tell us what's going on. We don't officially know.
That's the hardest part too, and why it's like, but it feels like we and at least in this show in particular, we always cover more Xbox news, is because like that's what's in the news. Like Sony really doesn't say anything, and they don't release anything. They don't talk to anybody. They don't do interviews, so they rarely do interviews. So it's like we have to rely on leaks and rumors and stuff like that, which are scarce. So it's like I wish Sony was more open with their plans, and so that way people will have a little bit of reassurance.
For sure.
But it is what it is. We'll find out soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, speaking of secret showcases, Xbox dropped their Xbox Partner Preview Showcase. It was a 30-minute, nothing but trailers. They had no host, nobody talking, nobody nothing, just straight trailer after trailer after trailer, and it showed a bunch of games, some that were already announced and some that they were announced but we didn't see anything from it. So it was just a little bit more information about some games, and I was very surprised because one in particular showcase, they had one trailer, they had Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and I was like, holy crap, Microsoft is showing this first over Sony. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, no,
and it looked so good.
Oh my god, don't even get me started. Like I was not expecting that at all. Just because they announced it on the Sony showcase.
Yes.
And I thought that for sure. I was like, okay, Sony got marketing, whatever, it's fine. It's coming to Xbox. I know, whatever. When it showed up on this showcase or this partner preview, whatever you call it.
Partner preview.
I was like, I was hyped because I was like, they got more to show. And
it showed a lot.
Let me tell you, that game looks beautiful.
It really does.
I was worried because when they first announced it, sorry, they
wow,
sorry, I didn't have to mute my mic. When they first announced the game, they said that they were keeping everything basically the same, like the same audio, the same story, like nothing was gonna be changed except the graphics. So I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. It's probably gonna be more like Last of Us Part 1, where it's like it's the same game but it looks prettier. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. But seeing this, they changed a lot. And they honestly, it feels like if they took the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5 and put it in Metal Gear Solid 3. And it's like, I mean, granted, there's some limitations, but the fact that they showed the crouching while walking, like that showed me that was like, okay, this is gonna be good, because that was one thing that I really, because they added it to the 3DS version. You remember that?
Yes.
So I actually never got to play. I wanted it so bad, but I didn't have a 3DS. They added it to that version and it worked. Like, it didn't feel like it was too, like, much, because that was one thing that people were saying, oh, it's like they can't add everything from the new games to the old games because it would break everything. Because have you played the Twin Snakes for the GameCube?
No, I had it on PlayStation 2.
Well, no, so the Twin Snakes was actually the remake of the first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was only on the GameCube.
Oh no, I didn't play it on the GameCube. No.
Yeah. So that game, it was the first game, but with the Metal Gear Solid 2 graphics.
Yeah.
And the mechanics and all the gameplay elements of that. But the problem is that they didn't really change much in regards to the gameplay or not the gameplay, the layout of the map and stuff like that. So, like, let's say, for example, in Metal Gear Solid 2, you can jump over the handrail and hang, and then you can drop down to, like, the next level or whatever. So you could do that also in Twin Snakes, but the problem is that because they didn't change the layout of the maps, you were able to bypass a whole bunch of stuff that was, like, you probably shouldn't, like, you're supposed to go through that. Like, it kind of broke the game a little bit.
It broke it, yeah.
Yeah, but they were trying to be, in line with the sequel. So anyway, but this one, it kind of adds to it. Like, it doesn't really change too much, but it gives you a little bit more control. And that was the main thing. I didn't want it to be just a straight rip because like we just got the Master Collection. Like I can play Metal Gear Solid 3 anytime I want. Like I don't want a reskin. I kind of want a little bit more than that. And basically this is basically what I was asking for. So I'm very excited about that.
I see.
I just went a whole tangent about it. So
yeah, I mean, it does look. I mean, Snake Eater was my all-time favorite Metal Gear Solid game. I love Snake Eater. It's high up there, even higher than some of the newer ones. High up there. I absolutely love it. And I played it on, I think it was the PS2, or PS. Yeah, I think it was PS2. I played it. I absolutely loved it. So seeing this, remembering my childhood of playing Metal Gear Snake Eater, and then seeing what it is today, I was like, wow, I cannot wait to play this.
And the kicker is that this was in Unreal Engine 5.
Yes.
Because a lot of people were saying, like, oh, this is going to be in the Fox Engine because that's what Konami owns. But no, this is Unreal Engine 5. Hopefully that means an easier development cycle because it's a very versatile engine.
And a lot more games and a lot more developers will be using Unreal Engine 5 from now on.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm hyped about it. I although I want to temper my expectations, although it's kind of hard because I'm like, I'll be honest, Metal Gear Solid is literally the my second favorite video game franchise of all time.
Yeah.
Second only to Mass Effect, but it's up there. So I kind of have a soft spot for it. Like literally there's people online complaining about the Master Collection, about how it's like there's certain like, oh, the textures are not good, like the lighting is weird or whatever. I bought it just because I'm a fan. And I bought it also because I want them to make a volume 2 because it's volume 1. And I want them to make a volume 2 because there might be Metal Gear Solid 4 added to it, which has never been on another platform outside of PlayStation 3.
Yeah, that would definitely be huge.
That would be insanely huge. So that's literally the only reason I bought it. I mean, I bought it so I could play the games, but that was one of the main reasons because I want them to show that there's interest in that. You know,
you heard it here first. Support the devs.
Support the devs. Get Metal Gear Solid 4 off of PlayStation 3. Put it on everywhere else. Put it on Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC. Put it everywhere. Put it on the freaking the Ouya.
Wow. So there was some more games that were showed. And one that really took me by surprise was Spirit of the North 2. And I was like, wow, this gameplay looks really amazing. Because as you know, Xbox does really well with indie games and indie developers. And this game looked like it was going to be another winner, like a big indie game that's come out. Just like Death's Door was like huge for Xbox. And Spirit of the North, I want to just predict right now it's going to be another big indie game for Xbox because the game looked really good.
Yeah, no, I honestly, so a lot of the games on there, I'm gonna be honest, they didn't really like pique my interest.
Okay. Fair.
Like what was the it's not called Yakuza, it's called Like a Dragon, right?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, so like that one, it started off the show with that, and I'm just like, all right, like I guess maybe I need to play the first one in order to really understand like everything surrounding it and why.
Well, not really. When it comes to the Yakuza series, you gotta play the mainline games, yes. But Like a Dragon is sort of a step to the side from the main series.
Is this not a sequel to the first Like a Dragon?
No, just like a Dragon Ishin is not a sequel. It's its own sidestep to the mainline games. So what is the other one that's on the one that's on Game Pass? The Like a Dragon that's on Game Pass now.
Aren't they all on Game Pass?
I think so.
Except for
that doesn't narrow it down very much.
Well, I think there's only like 2 of them. I forget the name. The one I remember it because
it was like turn-based. That one.
No,
that's
the one
I'm speaking about.
Well, I don't know which one it is. They're the one that's like it's a guy with the door in front of him and he's like opening it.
Oh, that's Judgment.
Judgment. That's not on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's not on Game Pass.
Yeah,
but that's another spin-off, but that's really good, you know.
Okay.
So Like a Dragon, it's a spin-off. Infinite Wealth is a spin-off to all the other games. It's different. So you don't have to play the other Yakuza games in order to enjoy and be a part of the Like a Dragon and Yakuza series. It's its own thing. Just like a Dragon Ishin, which is also on Game Pass, is its own thing because it's not canon. It's just its own game. It's going back to like the 1800s where samurais are there, you know. So
yeah,
this is just what we saw from the showcase. It kind of looked like Animal Crossing, but with Yakuza.
Yeah,
and I thought, wow, that's actually pretty cool. When me and brother Matt were talking about it, he says that's just this one particular island. The game is there's more in the game. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It's kind of like a side thing for people who want to do it.
Yes, just that one island, which is cool. Either way, I'm looking forward because the Like a Dragon and the Yakuza series are all really good, very well done. I'm actually playing through Like a Dragon Ishin on Xbox, and it's really good. I really enjoy it.
If I ever find time, if I ever was able to pause life, I will definitely get into the Yakuza series.
That just means you're not gonna find time. Copy.
Well, yeah. Maybe when I'm retired. But anyway,
so they came out. They had 2 extra games that were surprising that they wanted to show more of. Ark Survival Ascended, which is the remastered.
It's a remake or remaster, yeah.
Yeah, the remaster. They completely remastered everything. It's available right now for PC. They're working on the console version as we speak. They're saying it's coming out in November. So that's why it was at the Xbox showcase, because we know PC and Xbox are just their family.
Yeah.
But either way, it looked really good. Brother Matt was super excited because he's a super fan of the Ark series.
There's a lot of Ark fans, I just realized.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know how many people actually like Ark.
Yeah, it's a huge community. So he has so much. Brother Matt has so many hours. I think he told me it was like, I don't know. I can't even remember the number. It was a ridiculous amount of number of hours in Ark. So like he's super excited to play it. He actually downloaded it last night and was playing it. So he's super excited about that. But they also showed an extensive trailer for Alan Wake 2. And it was a trailer mixed with gameplay, and then they showed more gameplay. And this is right on the heels of it being launched, because it launches Friday. As well, it would be already out by the time this podcast comes out. It would be out already, so you could buy it and play it on Xbox and all these other PlayStation and PC. They had a big, extensive trailer, and I was looking at this trailer. I'm like, wow, this is actually really good. It looks really good. And I won't play it though because I'm scared.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I saw like other trailers of Alan Wake 2, and I was kind of like, it's whatever. Like, it's Alan Wake. I played the first one.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll probably get it eventually, whatever. But this trailer, for whatever reason, it sold me, and that's why I'm just like, I really want to get this? Like it's such a hard thing because like it looks so good, and now now that the review embargo's out, I mean it's getting 90s. They did the technical Digital Foundry did the technical analysis, and they're saying that it looks way beyond like any other game like out right now, even at like lower settings than like a PC with like a 40 series. It looks really good, and like the way that Remedy was able to maximize the level of detail on these consoles is like it's something to behold. Is what I've seen. So it's like that's why I said I'm getting the FOMO. It's like I want to be part of it. I want to play the game, but realistically, like even if I buy it, it's just gonna go back in my backlog. But yeah, no, it looks great. And so there is one other game that kind of piqued my interest, and I didn't see a lot of people talking about it.
Which was?
It's called Still Wakes the Deep.
Yes, Still Wakes the Deep. That's game, another scary game.
Yeah, so when I first saw, because I think they announced this on the Xbox showcase.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was like, okay. They kind of gave like a feeling of how it's gonna be, but this trailer, like, I was like, this looks real, because it's technically it's a walking simulator. Like, because I know that developer, I think they made Dear Esther, and another one I can't remember. Have you played Dear Esther?
I have not.
Yeah, no, I think it was on Game Pass not too long ago, but no, it's a very great like story walking simulator. Like, you don't really do anything. It just tells you the story as you interact with different stuff.
Okay.
So this one is similar. So the other one is Everybody's Gone to Rapture. I never played that one because I think it was only a PlayStation game. But yeah, so this one, it's like kind of like a psychological horror. Like, you can't, like, you just kind of experience it and you try to find out like what's going on and stuff like that. So that's like right up my alley. And when I saw this game the first time, I was just like, it's whatever. It's an indie game. But then now, seeing how it actually is, like during gameplay and stuff like that, I don't know, it just spoke to me. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. And it's on Game Pass, so can't beat that.
Yeah, it will be on Game Pass in early 2024. Another one from the showcase that I was like, man, this looks really good, because I'm a big fan of RoboCop. Was the RoboCop video game Rogue City? I was like, yo, this looks like RoboCop. That's so dope. You know, if you grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, you probably seen RoboCop and enjoyed it. And it's a very dark spin on Detroit and being a police officer during that time. But it's really, it looks like your RoboCop. You know, the even with the aiming, with the green screen and the lines going across, just like in the movie. I was like, man, that actually looks really cool.
I feel like that game, and it's apparently it's an RPG. So
what?
It's like a Fallout RPG type game.
Really?
Yeah, open world, you can explore and stuff like that. I mean, it's still like a shooter, but
yeah. I mean, we'll have to see, because I think I want to play it. I think it's going to come out on November 2nd, which is right around the corner. It's literally like next week.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this game, you kind of have to be a fan of RoboCop in order to
definitely
to appreciate it, because I don't think anybody younger than like 25 is going to even bother with this.
Wow, just ageism here is crazy. That's crazy.
I'm just being honest.
Everybody just knows
to say, "Oh, I watched it as a kid" or whatever. Like, hey, you said that, not me.
Yeah, but you didn't have to add on to that. Dang, you know what? Let's just go to the next news. We're not talking about the showcase no more.
No, but overall, I think the showcase, it was a nice surprise. Like, nobody was expecting that. They announced it on Monday and then they showed it on Wednesday. So
yeah, it was a good surprise. It was.
It was nice. I honestly, overall, I give it probably like I want to say like a 3 out of 5. It was good. Like, it was nothing spectacular, but it was a nice showing, and it was quick, it was fast, and I hope they do more stuff like this. Actually,
definitely. You know, they show on their big showcases like some major things, or they announce something, and then they do smaller 30-minute showcases to say, hey, this is what we announced. Here's a deeper look into it. So it's really good. I like the format. It was a good, nice surprise.
Yeah,
definitely. And we have some more Xbox news with we have the ABK is done. It's about 2 weeks now. So Microsoft and Xbox itself is sort of restructuring, especially after P. Hines are retiring. They have to sort of restructure their whole leadership team. Of course, Phil Spencer will remain the CEO. He's the man in charge, the man, playing chess with all of these other CEOs and heads at Xbox. He's put Nut Booty as the president and games content studios for ZeniMax and Bethesda Studios. Sarah Bond, who she got a promotion to be the president of Xbox, which is a major step in her career. Her lineage through the years of being with Xbox. This is a major break for her. And they have so many different structures. We know Bobby Kotick will be out at the end of the year, so he's gone. And once he's gone, you'll have more women in charge over at Xbox than men. and it's sort of a big leap forward for women in the gaming industry, and how you can see that the culture will shift once everything is gone through with ABK, and how their culture is going to be no more, and now you're going to be converted to the Xbox culture, and how they want to foresee their games and their studios and how everything works. So the future is bright when you're talking about Xbox and their leadership and what they plan on doing with all these games coming to Xbox.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's very refreshing too, because I think somebody pointed out that like 50% of the Xbox leadership are people of color, and that's very good, because you look at other companies like that they don't even, it's all freaking pasties in those positions.
Not the pasties.
But no, Sarabon getting that position, I think that was Phil Spencer's position, wasn't it, before he became CEO?
Thought that I think it is. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, maybe it was like a different, like he was head of Xbox at one point. So basically, this is the same position. It's just a different title. So she's president of Xbox, which is that's great. And honestly, I mean, she was always good. But after the whole FTC hearing regarding ABK and stuff like that, like Sarah Bond really showed that she is ready to lead. Like she knows what she's doing. She knows how to talk. She knows like what to say, when to say it, how to say it, all that stuff. She got it down pat. And,
of course she does.
and she's also a personality. Like if you see her in the showcases and stuff like that, she's very easygoing. Like she can talk to, she can deliver information in a way that doesn't feel like a suit. You know how like some people like they just, here's a chart and just look at the chart. Like, you know, like she's able to like be enthusiastic about this stuff. The same way Phil Spencer was, and why a lot of people like Phil Spencer, because he's very personable. Like it feels like you could just have a conversation with him. I feel like Sarah Bond is exactly the same way, and maybe that's because like they've essentially been like teaching her how to become this type of leader.
Nah, I think you I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's not to try to be negative. I think you don't give her enough credit though. I think she has stepped into this leadership role over at Xbox, and she has just been a shining star for them. And they looked at it and they were like, "Wow, she's going to be the next Phil Spencer."
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Up there.
No,
because
I agree.
I know you do. I just want to clarify for the audience that we think she's been a shining star. So does Xbox, obviously, because she got a major promotion, and this is just the beginning of her career. And who knows just what can happen in 5 to 10 years? Maybe she will be the next CEO, replacing Phil.
Oh no, it's not a maybe. It's gonna happen. Like I honestly, I feel like. So I know a lot of people have been talking, especially now with like everybody's leaving and retiring and stuff like that. I mean, Phil Spencer is up there in age; he's like in his 50s now. So I honestly think Phil will probably stay around for probably up until the next Xbox, the next generation, maybe a little bit after. But I do definitely feel like Sarah Bond is definitely going to be in that position, that she's going to take over for Phil, and you know they'll figure out like the pecking order after that. But it does and I wonder also, because right now the how it works out is like Sarah Bond is in charge of Xbox Game Studios, which is like the main first party Xbox studios. Then you have Matt Booty, who's transitioning from Xbox Studios to Bethesda now that Pete Hines is leaving, and Bobby Kotick is still on Activision, but I wonder who's going to replace him, because he's leaving by the end of the year. So I wonder if they're going to either promote somebody or they're going to just find somebody else. Like it's kind of up in the air, but I do like that they're still treating these as different branches. Yeah. And that way it makes it, cuz I feel like a lot of people were kind of speculating, oh, like once it was after the Bethesda acquisition. Oh, is Matt Booty gonna take care of Bethesda now? Like, that's a lot on his plate. It's like, no, like they're gonna separate things out. Like, they kind of have to, because it's a lot of people to manage, a lot of studios, a lot of positions. A lot. Yeah, so
well, right now, even under the new structure, Bobby Kotick is his official title is the Chief Executive Officer for Activision Blizzard, right? Yeah. So once he's gone, do you really need to replace? Do you need another CEO? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Phil Spencer's already a CEO. Why do you need another one?
Yeah, they probably won't have a CEO of Activision. You just have
like a head of Activision Blizzard,
head or a president or whatever. Yeah. They'll probably who I think, because blanking on his name right now. He used to work at Xbox, and now he works at Blizzard. Mikey Barra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He used to work at Xbox, now he works at Blizzard, and he's the president of Blizzard. So I feel like he can be the one to like kind of move up and be the president of Activision Blizzard, if that's what they decide to like call it, because I do think there is a possibility that they could split off Blizzard and Activision and kind of like treat them as like separate entities, the same way Bethesda is. So it'll be Xbox Studios, Bethesda, Activision, and Blizzard. So it'll be kind of like 4 different pillars under Xbox. I mean, that's a lot to manage, but I feel like it could be done.
I mean, if they split it up that way, it may actually work out in their favor.
Yeah.
You know, just having it streamlined, you know, to different sections, each one having different, you know, different heads, and that way you can streamline the leadership roles, and the studios itself can know where to go, what to do if they need anything, you know. Right. And we just saw the Xbox leadership, the team, you know, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, even Matt Booty, they all went to Europe to visit King. They went to we talked about it last week, how they're going to Activision Blizzard here in San Francisco. And they had their meetings, and Xbox and Phil Spencer even called Blizzard the Pixar of the gaming industry. He wants them to be able to be comfortable enough to go out there and create some of the best games that can come out for Xbox and PCs. So the future is definitely bright for all the leaders as well as the studios after ABK. It's definitely something to be excited for.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how things play out now that there's a little bit more freedom in terms of like creativity and structure and stuff like that. It's not like a whole emphasis on just constant profits and revenue and stuff. Like, I mean, there is still like, they still got to make money. It's not like they can just throw away cash like that, but now there's a little bit more wiggle room. So we'll see how that shakes out.
Definitely. I mean, that's what we got for the news. That was it.
That's what we got. All right, I guess we'll finish up. You got anything left to say? Any parting words?
Finish your games.
Was that a shot at me? You trying to talk to me directly?
Finish your games.
I concur. I need to finish my games.
Just play your games. Finish your games. Because that's what we're all here to do.
Play games. It doesn't matter what platform. Doesn't matter what game. Just play them.
Facts.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Later.